Hey, what's up everyone, and welcome back to the Joseph Hiram Chadwick lifeboat restoration project. So today we're going to be talking a little bit more in depth about plank defects and what they actually do to the boat. So we've had a lot of really dry weather for the past week or so, and that's caused the planking on the Chadwick to dry out to a point where the seams have become absolutely massive, and as you can probably tell, we've had a plank do what we call springing. So this particular plank here, one of the outer planks, has sprung itself away from the edge of the hull. Now this can be caused either by two things: either the fixtures that hold the plank to the boat have failed, and that's caused the plank to spring, or this keel timber, this hard chine timber, is rotten. And if this is rotten, what will happen is, as over time, as the planking changes, moves with moisture, heat, cold, and rain and moisture and water content, as you can see, this one has actually moved to a point where it's now cracked and is beginning to fall apart. What happens is, as the plank moves around, it pulls the fixtures that hold the plank together, or hold the plank to the timber. What tends to happen is they actually, if the plank's rotten, they will pull out the fixtures or the fittings that hold the plank into the boat. Now, we've had a lot of hot and dry weather for the past few weeks, past couple of weeks, which has meant excuse me, that a lot of these planks have dried, and a lot of the defects have actually got worse in the boat. So I've only been away for about 12 days from when we posted our last video, 12, 13, maybe 14 days, and in reality, all this hot weather we've had has basically caused a lot of these defects to literally get much worse now than they were when we started sanding the boat down. Now, we've done a bit more sanding this afternoon, and I've got a full week now away from my work to work on the boat in terms of sanding and getting it ready for the low loader. Details on that will be coming on later on in the next video, I believe. I know I keep putting it off, but so much stuff keeps happening. So what we're going to do is we're going to knock out these plugs and find out if it's this back timber, the hard chine timber, that has failed, or if it's the fixtures that have failed. So I'm going to get my screwdriver and my little hammer, and we're going to knock out these plugs. So it looks like we've got a fixture failing, rather than the hard chine failing. Now, so the way you I'm not too worried about down to it, but it definitely appears we've got a failed fixture. I'm not sure how well the video camera is picking all this up, but that fixture is literally just disintegrated like that, and all we are left with now is the tip of the fixture. This one feels okay, it feels strong and hard. I'm not going to try and rotate it with the chisel, but that explains why that plank has sprung from the boat. Now that's not really too much of a big deal. That's easily rectified. What we can do, I can remove this entire plank when the boat has been transported by the low loader. Take this plank off. I can then get a pair of removers in there, big mole grips, and we can back them threads out easily enough. Worst case is we'll have to drill them out. That's worst case scenario, but we reckon that they'll come out of their own accord easily enough with that plank removed. I'm expecting to find quite a few of those throughout the boat as we go, just because of the age and the lack of maintenance that the boat's had over its lifetime. So I'm expecting to see quite a few fixtures and fittings like that in a poor state. But that's all I'm planning on doing right now in terms of investigating on this particular plank. I know we've got lots of checking coming through. The other concernable plank, if we rotate the camera over here, is this particular this area here, which has deteriorated quite poorly. We can take the hammer and you can actually hear. See, that's what a solid plank should sound like. This sounds like, that sounds all hollow. So what I can tell you is that plank has basically completely deteriorated, and someone's tried to put filler in behind this plank to stop it either weeping. Not that the boat would have ever gone back in the water. I think it was being kept here on a permanent basis before I took the ownership of the boat. But if we actually chisel away at this filler and putty that the previous owners have put on the boat, you can quite easily see how easily it just chips away. There's no sort of holding strength in there. I'm not even being skilled with this chisel. I'm literally just tapping away at this, knocking out this filler basically, and it's really just showing how utterly deteriorated this plank is. And you can actually see how soft the plank is by just pushing the chisel into the plank. You can just see how physically soft that is. We can actually remove quite a large yeah, there's a screw there, rivet even, because this is a copper riveted boat. But you can just see the depth of how much filler is actually being put here. So there's been quite a substantial amount of filler being put in place here. And absolutely, yeah. Okay, so you can see how much filler has actually been put in place here. I'm going to try and remove some of this corking material that they've put in the boat. There is another big fixture here, but if you consider how much filler has been used to fill this pitted and damaged area, it just shows how quickly the level of rot can be that sets in. So this entire plank here will have to be pulled out and replaced with a new timber. And I've pretty much rescinded to myself now about the planking, and I've decided to pretty much replank the entire boat at this stage. There's not really much point in messing about with it, doing a little bit here and a little bit there. I'm just going to pull all the planking, spile everything where needed, and just basically make a load of new planking for the boat. I have to admit, this is not the sharpest chisel. This is actually one of the bluntest chisels in my box of tools, so I'm not surprised at how bad it is getting this filler out of the hole. But you can just see how bad some of this rot actually is in the boat. So yeah,